Hello UBC, Tom here, finally getting around to doing my post-match interview. First of all, just some general impressions. Man, what a great time. That was awesome. Hiroshi is a great guy. I'm really glad I met him. We had a lot of fun, and I think we both learned a lot of things. It was a lot of fun. Of course, the biggest issue that people were seeing and wondering about was the shield. How much advantage does it give? How do you work around it? What's going on with the shield? The shield was a real hot topic of discussion. It's a fairly unique experience, and it changes the way you fight significantly. It's not really that it's really any harder to get around a shield than a good defense of another sort, but that it's extremely different, and it has to be played differently. And if you don't do it right, you're going to get creamed. So it really does require knowledge of the creature itself, the shield. And that, unfortunately for Hiroshi, was what he didn't have. He had never dealt with a shield before. Let's see, I was asked if I thought about dropping my shield in order to use the sword two-handed. I think this was asked because I had actually dropped my sword a couple of times, and there was some concerns and some thoughts about if I had dropped my sword that Hiroshi would have been good to go to take advantage of that opening and whack the snot out of me, which is a different issue altogether. So let's talk about the using the sword two-handed. No. Short answer is no. I didn't have any desire to do that. The sword's not designed to do that. The handle on the sword would not accommodate two hands. The sword wasn't balanced or designed in any way to accept two hands. In fact, I think I would have been better off if the fight had continued instead of Hiroshi, backing off. I would have been better served to hang on to my shield than to fend him off with a shield and fight him with just the shield until I could recover my sword and continue the fight fully armed. That would have served me better than simply dropping the shield and fighting with both hands on that one sword that wasn't designed for it. That's my interpretation. I could spend all night talking about why, but I'm not going to. Did I feel my style gave me any advantages? Well, yes. Although also no. Because when you start talking about style, you start talking about the actual skill sets and the things that you do. So yeah, there was some advantage in that. The way my shield is used is very convenient for shutting down your standard kendo attacks. However, an experienced fighter can step beyond their training a little bit. It's always hard to step beyond your training, but experience plays a huge factor, and I've always believed that in a fight, the art itself matters less than the artist. The martial artist is much more of a factor than the art itself. I've always believed this. I still believe this. And I think that the reason I was able to defeat Hiroshi, pure and simple, was because I had greater experience. I first authorized with the SCA more than 18 years ago. I've been in lots of fights, seen lots of different weapon styles. I've done wars where there are 3,000 people on the field of battle all at once. I've seen a lot of things in this sort of a martial arts type of fight. So whereas Hiroshi's only done kendo and hasn't done it for as long. But I'm telling you guys, Hiroshi does know what's going on. He's got a real good feel for a fight. He's very skilled and adept. Yeah, he's a little rusty, but then so am I. So I'm impressed with him, and I know that he's going to come back at me with something to surprise me the next time we do this. And I'm working on something to surprise him. So we'll video it and show it to you guys so you can see as well. Let's see, moving right along. Why did I bind so much? Do I prefer it? This was asked me on over at the SBG forum. especially with the longsword to katana fight. I did do a lot of binding. I rushed in, got in close, locked swords and bodies with Hiroshi. It's not so much that I prefer the bind, but that A, I am comfortable in the bind, and B, I knew that Hiroshi was going to be faster and more accurate than me with the single sword. And he absolutely was. He was faster and more accurate in every way, single sword, single sword. And I knew the only way I could keep his speed from overpowering and his accuracy from overpowering me and just destroying me was to get in close, get into the bind, and basically force him to do a sword wrestle with me. Because I'm pretty good in the bind, but it's not like it's my specialty. It's just that it was, I felt, the appropriate action for the situation I was in, and that's really what it's all about, finding the appropriate action for the situation you are in. So that's why I did the bind. It helped level the playing field, and I did manage to just barely pull that round out on a 3-2 score. So I think it was a tactic that was successful. It could have very easily backfired, but I rolled the dice and they came up for me in that one. Let's see. Lastly, I just want to say that when we're talking about the dropped weapons, yeah, he could have rushed in and smacked me around, and I wouldn't have complained. I really would not have. But that's really not what we were out there to do. We weren't out there in a life-to-death struggle trying to kill each other. We were out there testing our skill against each other and comparing our skill sets and the things that we knew and to see how they work together, to learn from it, and, well, of course, to have fun also. And Hiroshi understood that the weapon I had was a improvised weapon. It was not what I normally use, and it was fairly poorly designed. I'm working on improving it so that next time we fight, I will not be dropping my sword. So what happened really, though, is something that I love about sword fights and martial arts in general. A decision was presented to Hiroshi, and he had only a split second to make his decision. Do I wait for him, or do I charge in and take the point? Do I want to win, or do I want to be respectful? He chose to be respectful. He chose to be honorable. Because you know what? And that's who he is. That's what he is. He's a respectful, honorable man, and he's a great guy. And that's what it's all about. When you have to make that decision in the split second, you don't have time to lie to yourself. You don't have time to lie to others, to put on a show, to keep up appearances, to be the thing you want to be, to pretend. The only thoughts fast enough to react in that split second are the things that are truly you. This is why a martial arts fight competition, a sword fight, a sparring match, a duel of this nature is a great tool for a person to measure themselves and others by. It's one of the reasons why martial arts are considered enlightening. And it's a beautiful process that teaches you things about yourself every time you do it. And it's one of the things that has me so addicted to the sport, if you want to call it a sport, but the martial art. And so I think that's really cool. That's a little bit of philosophy. Hopefully it's not too heavy for anyone. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I had a great time. I can't wait to do it again. And Hiroshi, I'm preparing something for you, buddy. Yeah, I can't let you just come in to the ring and not have a surprise waiting for you, man. I got more surprises for you. Just wait. We'll see what happens. And I'm sure he's going to have some surprises for me too. And I think that the next time we cross swords or sticks, or whatever you want to call them, it's going to be just as entertaining and just as fun as the last time. And I know we're both looking forward to it. And hopefully y'all will tune in and watch it and see what happens. Thank you and good night.